And we are now joined by Ali Sablay. He is the project manager for Gift of the Givers to discuss what is taking place in the Western Cape pertaining to those floods. Ali, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Surely, you know, we've been seeing the reports over the past couple of days. You as Gift of the Givers and many others have been really working hard. If you can just tell us, what is the latest now coming out from the Western Cape pertaining to those floods?
The latest is in the next few hours, just after midnight, there's another cold front approaching the Western Cape with severe rains and wind again. Disaster management teams and ourselves, we had a meeting this afternoon, and they informed us with the South African Weather Service that the area that will be hit hard by the storms coming this evening will be along the Cape Winelands. That is your Paarl, Stellenbosch and Rosenville area. As you know, Rosenville has already been cut off since last week, Wednesday. There's over 1,260 people affected, 340 structures completely destroyed when the riverbank burst on that side. In fact, our teams will be going that way tomorrow in assisting these communities. The situation on the ground is very dire. An area like Klein Willem has been off of electricity since last week and Wednesday when heavy winds blew off the electrical cables, electrical poles. It will be a major operation to get the town electricity back on. An area of Citrusdal we visited yesterday. The mayor informed us that by Tuesday coming, there won't be a drop of fuel left in the town, as it is impossible for fuel trucks to come into the town. They are worried also as well. Many of the boreholes have been washed away. The town is dependable on one final borehole. And with the heavy rains predicting this evening, going over that way, if the borehole gets affected this evening and it gets washed away, there's going to be a major humanitarian crisis where Citrusdal and its residents won't have clean drinking water. So, and our areas are today as well, our teams has reached Wuppertal. They have been without any humanitarian assistance for the last 8 days. People in the informal settlements have been the hardest hit. Close to over 10,000 people are affected, and the calls are still coming through.
And you know, you particularly talk about those living in informal settlements who have been the hardest hit, Ali. If you can just tell us, I'm sure we've just seen that package, compiled by my colleague. Many there are very helpless, and they need all the help under the sun at the moment.
Most definitely. Today we visited the area with your teams in Makassar in the Western Cape. Over 80 homes were completely flooded. And when we got there, the residents informed us how on Wednesday, within seconds, the water rose up until their chest. They had to escape. They had to leave their pets behind. They just had to escape with their clothes on them. And they were more worried at how's the elderly going to get out. Fortunately, there was no fatalities in Makassar. And today, a resident went with us. She said, "Come, I'll take you to my home. I've been there last on the day of the floods." And as we opened the door of a front door of a structure, the stuff just started flooding out. All her belongings are completely destroyed. Her food washed away in front of her as well. Many in the informal settlements has lost everything. They could not save everything. It was so sad. Last week, there were some children still busy with exams. Their textbooks, their clothing, their school uniforms, completely washed away. This damage is going to be costing in the millions, besides the key infrastructure that was severely damaged.
And perhaps if you can just give us a bit of more insight, Ali, in terms of, what is urgently required right now at this moment to help those who have been harshly affected by these floods.
The urgent need at the moment is blankets, toiletry packs, your personal hygiene stuff, mattresses, warm clothing, and when the rain subsides and these people go back to their homes, they're going to have to be assisted with a food hampers, warm clothing. Children would need to be assisted with new school uniforms, school stationery. But we are appealing to anyone who's watching this. There's a dire need for blankets at the moment. Gift of the Givers teams are rolling out blankets by its thousands. As I'm speaking to you, we're expecting another truck from KZN to arrive in the early hours of this morning, but that's not enough because the calls are still coming through. And with our assessments on the ground, people have lost everything, and the weather is not going to get better anytime soon. They're predicting only the weather to subside by Wednesday, and there are many people stranded in shelters without proper warm clothing or blankets.
And let's also then talk about, I know that most roads in those areas, they've been affected. If maybe you can give us a bit of more insight in terms of which roads have been reopened, can people move in and out of some of these the areas, especially the likes of Citrusdal?
Unfortunately, Citrusdal is completely cut off. The main road leading into Citrusdal has been completely washed away. That work can only be really worked on once the rain subsides. And when the rain subsides, the river banks has burst, the Olifant Rivier has burst its banks. And this will be a couple of months before the engineers get the road up and running again. Fortunately, yesterday, we were supposed to reach the town via helicopter. That was aborted due to the bad weather. The river stream was too strong, we could not use boats. And then we met a local farmer who informed us on his farm there's a concrete bridge loading that goes over into Citrusdal. We had an engineer looking at the bridge yesterday, and he gave us the thumbs up to move humanitarian aid into Citrusdal. But unfortunately, the town is completely cut off. I just received news earlier, the Huguenot tunnel is open up for a few hours today, but it will be closed tomorrow morning depending on the weather, as they're expecting severe storms. So the N1 will be closed, N2 going past Grabouw, Ceres, that's also affected. But we're appealing to people, if you do not have to be on the road, please stay at home. Do not take the chance, do not take the risk of being on the road in this weather. It can be fatal. As we know, there are 2 deaths already. Someone died last night in Vredendal as well. So we're appealing to people, stay in your homes, do not take that risk to be on the road.
And you speak about, there is another storm approaching Cape Town, and you are saying that, this should last until at least Wednesday. What are the plans so far? I'm sure you are working with the municipality, you are working alongside the province as well. What do you have planned to ensure that it doesn't affect as many people as it have affected, now?
Unfortunately, this disaster has hit the whole metropole. Previously, during winter time, we know there's a rainy time, and there are areas that are prone to disasters, example like Kavicha, Guguletu, Langa, Mitchells Plain, Bishop Lavis. On that fatal morning of the 14th of June, the calls never came from that area. The calls came from areas all outside Cape Town as well, informing us of the devastation of the floods. But we can say to residents and to those staying in informal settlements, if you see your area is going to be flooded, if you see you're going to be in danger, please leave with your family to the nearest available shelter or accommodation made available by disaster risk management and the Western Cape government. Do not take that chance of thinking you're going to be safe if you see the water coming down. We've seen the impact it had on the last week, and it destroyed not only infrastructure, it destroyed thousands of people's livelihoods. It destroyed farmers who are just were just busy. It's a citrus time now. We saw citrus farms are completely destroyed. It's going to leave a high unemployment rate as well, as people cannot go back to work, or of the devastation of the impact of how these farms were destroyed. So unfortunately, the only thing we can is we can warn people what to do, and we're asking them please to not take the chance.
All right, Ali Sablay, thank you so much for your time.